Central American, Caribbean, Mexican, and American Southwest cultures. The term Latinx refers to the fight members of this community have to take in order to dispel mistreatment they have received. People of the Latinx culture do not fit the traditional norms they are expected to have. The term Latinx is becoming more popular with younger generations because they have grown up in the United States and are being exposed more to gender identity diversity. This supports the fact that a study by the Pew Research Center found that only 50% of Hispanic people identify as Hispanic by the fourth generation. Therefore, the Latino community is merging more and more with the Latinx community as the generations evolve. Interestingly enough, however, the term Latinx has been used several years prior and is not something that has recently been generated in our present society. However, in the last few years, this term has come to encompass people of the Latino or Latina community who live in the United States. It is a way for people to keep their identity and their roots while also establishing a new identity in the United States. As I was preparing to enter the Nosotros exhibit at the Georgetown Art Center, I was expecting to learn about the history of the South American, Central American, Caribbean, Mexican, and American Southwest people. I was expecting to see some real photos of historical events from these cultures to learn the hardships they faced, as well as the celebrations and victories. Upon entering the art exhibit, I was surprised at what I actually saw. The art gallery was filled with paintings from people who took experiences from these cultures and drew their own interpretation. What I thought was interesting about these paintings and interpretations was how each one told a story. I was able to interview one of the people who was in charge of the art exhibit, and she shared with me the stories behind some of the paintings. This painting is actually a legend of the Weeping Woman of the Southwest, otherwise known as La Llorona. This painting reflects the legend that encompasses the people of New Mexico. The legend says that La Llorona was a poor mother who would leave her children at night to go talk with the rich men of the village. One night, when she returned, her children were found drowned in the river nearby. Some legends say it was due to her neglect, while others say she herself drowned her own sons. Regardless, La Llorona mourned the death of her sons and refused to eat until she died. Now, legend says La Llorona walks the banks of the river in New Mexico searching for children to take in the river. This painting represents this story because La Llorona is described to have black hair, and on the right side of her face in the painting, you can see she is weeping. I was told the flowers represent the life she once had with her children, and the barbed wire and darkness at the bottom of the painting represent the darkness and sadness that overcame her after her children drowned. Additionally, something I learned from this exhibit was how the Latinx culture is viewed by society as one general culture. However, Latinx is a term used to describe all different people from the Hispanic culture. As mentioned earlier, this includes people from South and Central America, the Caribbean, Mexico, and the American Southwest. Therefore, people of the Latinx culture should not be viewed with one lens, but rather see the individual characteristics that make up this community. These pictures reminded me of the diversity people within the Latinx culture have because it represents a family celebrating their culture in their own way, whereas the picture previously shown demonstrates someone celebrating her culture in a different way. The people in both of these pictures are shown in different attire, which means they have different values. Therefore, it helped me see the differences. I thought that Latinx culture was significant to learn about in regards to multicultural education and society because there have been many misconceptions around this culture which present challenges within the school. Often, most educators think multicultural education serves immigrant students, but many of the American Latino students are born in the United States and therefore understand the American culture that is integrated into a multicultural education program. Another misconception is that teachers do not think they can teach this population in a multicultural way because they are not educated enough in this culture. However, a multicultural education cannot be taught in a short time period, but is rather an integration throughout the school year in small ways. Therefore, any teacher can teach this population if they take the time to educate themselves about this culture. However, to combat these challenges the Latinx community faces, the educational curriculum is working to be more inclusive towards cultural diversity. This means accepting the fact that the Mexican-American culture may be underrepresented in the curriculum we are teaching our students and finding ways to implement their contributions into the curriculum. Additionally, teachers are working to make learning for this community relevant. This means teachers are finding ways to integrate their culture into the classroom to help them connect and find comfort in the things they are learning at school. At the conclusion of the event, I was able to reflect on this experience and think about how it impacted me. When I walked into this cultural experience, I felt overwhelmed by the amount of stories that were being told in all the different paintings. I wanted to spend more time than I had learning about all the different stories and histories behind each painting. While some paintings revealed sadness, Others revealed excitement, joy, and celebration. I enjoyed getting to capture these paintings to help tell the history of these various cultures. Overall, this experience has helped me connect the knowledge I have learned from this course to the Latinx community specifically. I have learned from this experience how important a multicultural education is in all classrooms and schools because there are generations of stories to be told from all cultures that students should have the opportunity to learn about. From this course, I have learned how to incorporate a multicultural education into schools, and from this experience, I have learned why it is important to incorporate a multicultural education in schools.